Okay, welcome back everybody to part 2 of this lesson. Okay, we've just found out what the inverse of a function is and what it means in terms of their graphs. Now we just want to figure out, like, well, we know how to find, find the inverse of a function at a point. Let's see if we can find a general formula. Okay. Well, there's actually a very simple way of doing it. I should say maybe not simple, but straightforward. So if let's say we're lucky enough to have a formula for our original function, f of x, then we do it this way. We first write the equation x. We write x equals f of y, where f of y basically is just going to be the same as f of x, but we replace x with y. So we'll have x equals some expression in terms of y. Then becomes the hard part, is solving for y. That is, doing some algebraic operations to isolate this y, and then we just find, we will have y equals something in terms of x. And that something in terms of x then is going to be f inverse of x. Okay? So the real work just happens in the second part. Okay? And it kind of reminds me when I was in high school, we were trying to work on a problem like this, and I just remember there was a cool guy, real cool Fonzlake guy. We were supposed to be working on this problem, and he was talking to his friends, and I said, hey, so and so, did you solve for y yet? And he looks at me and say, hey, Blackford, when I want to solve for y, I'll solve for y. that always sticks in my mind there, a little laugh there. We're just going to look at some examples here, simple examples. These are linear functions. So if f of x is equal to x minus 3, what's the inverse? Well, we know it's not 1 over x minus 3. What we're going to do is we're going to do this algorithm, or this method. So we're going to write x equals f of y. Okay, well, what is f of y? That's y minus 3. Okay, then we can add, we want to isolate the y, so we add 3 to both sides. So we get x plus 3 equals y. And then this is f inverse of x, right? So f inverse of x is x plus 3. And you can check this does make sense, because if you take f of x plus 3, this is the same thing as x plus 3 minus 3, so that's x. Similarly, if you take f inverse of x minus 3, this is x minus 3 plus 3, so that's x as well. Okay. Here we're just composing. This is f of f inverse of x, and we get x. This is f inverse of f of x, and we get x. So these are inverses of each other. And in fact, you can see that if we were to graph these are just two parallel lines. Okay, so they're certainly symmetric to the line y equals x. Okay, let's look at this case. F of x is 5x. Well, let's find what the inverse is. We write x equals f of y, and x equals, that means x equals 5 times y, and we want to isolate the y, so we divide both sides by 5, and we get y equals x divided by 5. So f inverse is this expression, x divided by 5. And we won't write this out, but if you take, obviously if you take this thing and multiply by 5, you get x. If you take this thing and divide by 5, you get x. So these are indeed inverses of each other. Okay. Whatever we get, I'm going to take a little bit different, like 3x plus 7. We do the same thing to find the inverse. X equals f of y, so x equals 3y plus 7. Okay. We want to isolate the y, but first we'll take care of the 7, so we subtract 7 from both sides, and we get x minus 7 equals 3y. And now we can divide both sides by 3. So we get x minus 7 over 3 equals y. And that's our this is our f inverse of x. So f inverse of x, you can write this as x minus 7 over 3, or if you want, you can write this as 1/3 minus 7/3. Okay, same thing. It's probably a little easier if you see to check this. You can see that if we substitute, replace this x with 3x plus 7, we get 3x plus 7 minus 7. So the numerator just becomes 3x, and then 3x divided by 3 is x. So you can check that if you substitute this into here, you get x. If you substitute this into here, you'll get x. So this does work out. So here, that's how you find, that's a basic strategy for finding inverses of functions, right? And please work on the exercises, get practice, and see you next time.